Hi, I'm Chris Berman from ESPN. Coming up next, I know you want to know what's coming up next, so that's why I'm here. The TCI Game of the Week.
Last year, the Troy Colts seemed to have an easy path to the playoffs, and under coach Gary Griffith, Troy decisively beat opponents such as Kimball and Athens to go 9-0 in the regular season. The playoffs weren't to be as easy. In the first round, Troy met Dearborn-Fordson, and late in the fourth quarter, Troy could not hit a tying field goal. Fordson went on to win the Class AA title, and Troy went home. Tonight, Troy kicks off TCI's '94 season by taking on Clarkston.
The TCI Sports High School Football Game of the Week.
Tonight, from Clarkston High School, it's the Troy Colts taking on the Clarkston Wolves. Hello, everyone. Dave Zorn along with Joe Abramson to kick off this 1994 season. And, Joe, what a contest.
Really is. You know, the first game, first week of the new Oakland Activities Association. And in Division I, these are the teams picked to finish 1 and 2 by the other coaches. Troy picked to finish first, Clarkston second. Troy's the favorite, but they only return 18 players off of last year's undefeated last ever SMA championship team, while Clarkston, on the other hand, which won the last goal championship, has 21 of its 22 starters seniors. A lot of experience. That's Clarkston's edge. That's what they're going to have to rely on to pull the upset off.
Okay, last season it was a 16-13 contest in which the Troy Colts won. A little bit of a revenge factor tonight for the Clarkston Wolves. We'll be back with the kickoff right after these messages.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Back here at Clarkston High School, Dave Zorn along with Joe Abramson for the kickoff of this 1994 season. And Joe, the kickoff of also a new league.
Yeah, the Oakland Activities Association, the Oakland County Mega Conference, kind of taking after the one they have in Macomb County. There you see last year each of these teams won its respective conference for the last time. Troy in the SMA, Clarkston in the goal. And Troy went on 9-0, went to the playoffs, lost, as we mentioned earlier, to Dearborn-Fordson, who eventually won the state title in a game that everybody at Troy knows they should have won. They were the better team. They had a bad day. They blew it at the end. Problem for Troy, you'd think, well, you come back with revenge on your mind, but they don't have a whole lot of guys back from that team. So other than the 18 seniors, how many guys really remember that and are really that ticked off about it that they feel they have something to prove?
And in talking to both coaches, I think it's a benefit also. Kurt Richardson really thought that this new Oakland Activities Association helps out because you're playing teams of your caliber.
Right.
You're playing teams, you won't see the matchups that we saw last year, a Rochester versus Don Darrow.
Right, and not only that, for Clarkston more so, they don't have to travel to Flint anymore. They don't have to go to Algonac. They're playing teams in Oakland County. They're going to develop some more rivalries. Troy, well, suddenly they've got all AA teams in their schedule with the exception of Groves and Kettering. Kettering, though, is a playoff contender, so really, you know, they got a tougher schedule.
And we are underway in the '94 season. Returning for the Colts, and a good return out to about the 30-yard line.
That's Jared Topher.
Jared Topher, who will start in the backfield this season.
Jared Topher trying to become the fourth tailback in a row to rush for 1,000 yards in a season. Last year they had E.J. Howell. The year before that they had Ray Dowd. And I'm not sure who it was the year before that, but each year they have a new tailback, and each year he gains 1,000 yards. So kind of something for him to live up to.
And that big offensive line of the Troy Colts helps out. Kyle Rantz, the quarterback for the Troy Colts. And Again, he has Topher in the backfield, and he hands off to Topher again. Off tackle, and a big play defensively by number 63, Brett Rebb.
And Rebb using some of his quickness, and Troy has, on average, its biggest line ever, averaging 233 pounds. Clarkston's going to have to counter that with some quickness, and here they do, as you see Rebb getting around the lineman, avoiding the block, and able to make the tackle on Topher.
Topher with a loss of a yard. In motion for the Colts, number 20. And that is Vanderbrecht. Off tackle and back out to about the 35-yard line. And that is Drew Patrick, number 7, outside.
Yeah, quick out pass there. Kyle Rance is a new starting quarterback for Troy. 6'5", can see over the line. That's something different for Troy. The last few quarterbacks have been around 5'11", 6 feet. Talented players, but when you're 6'5", like Rance is, you have such an advantage, especially when your line is as big as they are. Now he can see past the lineman.
3rd and 6 for the Troy Colts now. High formation to the tailback, Topher. And only gains about a yard or two, so a 4th and punting down now for the Troy Colts.
Well, and right now, actually, the Clarkston line is doing the better job. You know, going back real quick, we were talking about with the schedule and everything as we take another look at Topher's run right into the line. Clarkston still does have to play a few outstate games with Lansing Sexton. Actually, it's a home game, but outstate teams, and then add Alpena late in the year because of contractual obligations they had before the league merger happened. As we'll watch this punt, we'll finish that point after.
Brian Searing to do the punting for the Troy Colts, and this is a shank punt, crosses the 50 and then comes back and goes out of bounds right around the 50-yard line. So great field position now for the Wolves as they start their first possession of 94 at midfield.
Yeah, great field position, and kicking game is a concern for Troy because they lost 2 outstanding kickers last year. E.J. Howell, their all-state running back, was also a great punter, and Paul Beams, their kicker, who could kick 50-yarders if he had to. But, you know, Troy, on the other hand, they also have to play Seaholm. That's their other Class A team, another playoff team. In a way, it helps you because you can afford a loss and still make the playoffs, but you don't have any lowly Class A teams or double B teams.
Toby Evans hands off to the tailback on the first play from scrimmage for the Wolves, and they gain about a yard, a little bit more than a yard, and it'll be 2nd down now.
Player number 35, I believe, Jason Graves.
So Graves gets a couple of yards on that one.
Yeah, Jason,
refs being generous on that carry.
Yeah, you know, Graves, according to most of the preseason predictions, is the main player in their offense, but they've got some talented receivers too, and that may be the difference for Clarkston. If you're going to beat Troy, at least in the past, you've had to establish a passing game somewhere along the line.
Pro formation, and Evans runs into one of his backs. And the pass is complete out to number 6, Pat Mulligan. Mulligan falls immediately after catching it, and it'll be a 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, he only gained a yard. The pass was low. What you're trying to do there is set up a flanker screen, but you've got to get the pass up to him high. Here he throws it and it comes low, and he's got to go down to catch it. And as you know in high school, just like in college, once you're down, you're down. You got to get it up to him so he can start using his quickness and athletic ability to get some yards after the catch.
Watch for Mulligan, Fife, or the tight end Agar now on a 3rd and long. I formation, split receivers for Evans. Evans drops back quickly and batted down by number 64 for the Troy Colts, and that is Truza. Peter Truza blocking that pass, and now it's a 4th down for the Wolves.
Well, you know, and we just talked a minute ago about having a tall quarterback on Troy's behalf. It does help if you've got a guy as tall. I'm not sure how tall Evans is. He's about 6'2", according to the roster. Not bad, but not 6'5". And again, that Troy defensive line is just so huge.
On that defensive line is the quarterback, Kyle Rance. So Rance playing defensive end and quarterback.
Well, Gary Griffith made a good point about that. He said football players are football players, and they're going to be on the field.
And they're football players first, and then basketball players.
Well, that's how it should be.
The punt is off.
Fair catch.
And a fair catch asked for at about the 15-yard line. Make that the 17. And the Troy Colts will start there.
Right now, it is a defensive battle. And this, you know, in a way, if you're Clarkston or Troy, you don't like to start the season out with a league game. You'd rather be able to kind of break into it. But you can also maybe surprise somebody, especially if you're the underdog. Troy sometimes does start out slow. There have been years where they catch fire late in the year. Maybe it is better to get them right now. especially when they're young.
I formation, 2 receivers split up top, and they go to the fullback, number 25, Dan McCarty. McCarty on his first carry gets a couple of yards there, gain of about 4 yards on that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mick McCabe.
Quick fullback dive there. One thing's about, Troy, their offense basically only slightly more creative than Catholic Central's. In other words, kind of lull you to sleep a little bit, but they'll just beat you up and gain yards on you, and you won't know what happened to you.
Back to pass. Rance has got a man.
Well, that's something.
And a lot of coverage downfield.
So the minute I say Catholic Central, they throw the ball, and that doesn't even happen in practice at Catholic Central.
We talk about this new division. This is the Oakland Activities Association. In Division 1, it's Troy, Clarkston, the 2 teams tonight, Athens, Rochester, Adams, and Pontiac Northern.
And that's all Class AA teams. And like we mentioned, last year Troy was playing Seaholm, a Class A team, Kimball, a Class A team, Hazel Park, Andover, which was a double B team.
And Ferndale.
And Ferndale, which is, I believe, a Class B team, maybe an A team. But either way, none of that. They'd have Troy, Athens, and Clarkston were their AA schedule last year. Now look at these teams.
3rd and 6, passing down again. Rance rolls out, gets pressure, unloads downfield, intercepted by Graves. Graves has it about the 30 to the 25 and down at about the 20-yard line.
And they tried to roll Rance out to the short side of the field, and he just wasn't able to find an open receiver. I thought that he had an open man in number 3, Scott Michael. But Graves was there to pick it off and made a great return inside the 20-yard line. Let's take a look here as you see Rance rolling out, looking downfield, trying to buy some time. The line gave him a lot of time. And, yeah, he overthrew. I think that was intended for Michael. That was kind of into a pack of several guys.
John McCall, the tight end.
Might have been, yeah.
89.
They were all around the ball.
And the first down carry, and the Colts come up big that time.
Yeah, that time it was Nick. You might be better with this than I am. Jorkowski?
Jorkowski, yeah.
Okay.
And the Colts come up big, 2nd and 10 now. This is where they have to toughen up defensively. The Wolves had it about midfield and stalled on their first drive, and now pick up a big turnover deep in Colts territory. Graves hit at the line of scrimmage, but he falls forward for a couple of yards. And it'll be a 3rd down and long coming up now for the Wolves. Let's take a look, Joe.
Yeah, here you see just a quick off-tackle pitch. Tries to follow his blocking into the line, gains about 2 yards. It's going to give him 3rd and 8. You've got to figure they're going to throw the ball, especially since if they don't complete it, they've got a decent kicking game, and the ball's already positioned in the middle of the field to have a good opportunity at the field goal. And if both defenses keep playing like they have been, a field goal could be the difference, as it was last year.
Joshua Preston bringing the play in. Watch for Fife or Mulligan now. The 2 receivers trying to draw him off sides is Evans. Drops way back, and they screen. And the ball is fumbled. Who's got it? The ref right there. We'll wait and see. The pass went out to Agar.
Well, one thing, he recovered. Yeah, he recovered it, which is interesting because the ref, first thing I noticed was the ref signaling his arm to keep the clock going. I thought the ball might have been fumbled out of bounds.
Yeah.
But here you see him try to set up the screen. And this is something a lot of high school teams seem to be doing in recent years is on 3rd down and 8, 3rd and 9, whatever, they go for screen passes instead of actually throwing to the spot. Apparently it, throws the defense off, but I very rarely see it work.
J.R. Kirk to do the kicking, number 23 for the Wolves. The kick is up, and it is short and wide. Wide to the right.
Well, and Troy Colts dodged a bullet with that after the key turnover.
It's about a 35-yarder on the attempt for Kirk. So the Colts do dodge a bullet after the big interception by Graves that got him down to the 20-yard line. And the Colts defense toughens up there, and the Wolves come up empty-handed.
And one of the things
you think the Wolves ran some predictable plays there? Is that what happened?
I think they're just outsized on that. I mean, neither offense has been able to do anything yet. If they're at the middle of the field, you wouldn't even notice yet. There you see Troy ranked 6th overall in the state by the Free Press, 5th in Oakland County.
Topher breaks it up the middle. Look out. One man to beat down the side, and a good tackle there by Jeremy Fife, number 10. But that gets the Colts out of their end of the field, and it brings them over to the 40-yard line, roughly.
And that's why they're ranked so high. I did notice that they were ranked just ahead of Brother Rice, which I have to, have a personal beef with, but, that's okay. But here, Topher, we were mentioning, he's got probably the personal pressure more than anything else of being the next tailback to gain 1,000 yards at Troy. Get a couple of those every game, you'll have that by about 7th week.
So Jared Topher brings the ball out to about the 41-yard line of the Wolves, the first time they've gotten into Wolves territory. Again, Topher on the carry. And he just barely got past the line of scrimmage. Second down and about a long 9 coming up.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting, you look at that defense is holding up tough. Clarkston did have a preseason scrimmage with Traverse City, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and Farmington Harrison. And depending on who you believe, Harrison's the best team in the state or Orchard Lake St. Mary's is the best team in the state. One of the two is. I'll go with St. Mary's because Harrison's probably going to lose tomorrow. But
to your alma mater.
Exactly.
Go ahead and say it.
But they more than held their own with all of those teams. And if you can play with them, you can play with anybody in the state.
Second down and long. Brant's back to pass. Gets pressured at the last second and unloads high. Incomplete out there. Intended for number 7. That is Drew Patrick.
I'll tell you, give Gary Griffith some credit, though. Just a few plays ago, they threw an interception. And on teams that don't like to throw the ball a lot, once they make an error early in the first quarter of a game, they'll tend to go ultra-conservative on you. He's still letting his quarterback, a new starter this year, get a little experience, still letting him air it out a little.
And it's another chance to do that. Third and long again. Third and about 9. 4:30 left here in the first quarter. The draw. Topher stacked up for a loss.
Well, I'll tell you, Clarkston knew it was coming. You just watched their defense, and they didn't buy. When Rance started going back like he was passing, they saw what was happening. They did not try to pressure the quarterback. They waited. Watch right here. He's trying to sell it. There he goes with the draw, and you see those linemen did not come in to go after the quarterback. They waited for that handoff.
And a good read in there by Chad Chandler, getting in there and making the stop. The punt, a good one this time. Caught at about the 10-yard line. Breaking it outside is Graves. Shows some moves. And gets it out to about the 25-yard line. About the 26. That's where the Wolves will start.
No, and really, as we're inside of 4 minutes in the first quarter, other than the one long run by Topher, we haven't seen either offense really do much of anything. And I think that's why, you look at when Clarkston was inside the 20, they didn't score well. They're not moving the ball anyway, and Troy really hasn't been except for that one play either. It's just a defensive battle. And I kind of expect if Clarkston doesn't start moving the ball on the ground this drive, you're going to see them split the receivers out a little bit more and make the Troy defense come off the lines a little bit.
Yeah, we haven't really seen them go to the air much. Evans on a quick draw to the fullback. Not much there, and on the carry is Preston, number 44, looked like. Yeah. So Preston gains about 2 or 3 yards here, and it'll be second about 7 coming up.
And 2nd and 7, well, if you can do it every time, you're going to move the ball down a little bit, but right now the Troy line, after a little early, the Troy line looked like it was kind of losing to the Clarkston line, but as you see one of the Clarkston coaches and head coach Kurt Richardson down along the line there. Eventually, though, I think they are going to have to spread it out because the Troy line is starting to utilize its size and strength.
Evans sacked. Tariq Kazuz in there on the sack, number 44.
He went in untouched. That's not a matter of size. That's just a matter of getting through without anyone seeing you. Watch him. The lineman take up all the space there. He comes in as a linebacker. Never had a chance. Now they've got a 3rd down and 12.
3rd and 12 coming up now. Wasselk brings the play in, and we have yet to see. It's kind of been opposite. We expected Clarkston to pass a little bit more, and it's been the Colts who have been passing.
Yeah, that's true. And Clarkston with the experienced receivers and the tight end, although Troy has a great tight end as well, you'd think, they've got the quickness and everything, you'd think they'd be going to the air. Well, they are this time.
Fakes and goes deep for Fife. Fife couldn't get to it. Good coverage down there by number 22, Taron Adams.
And Taron Adams did a great job. They tried to make him bite on a hitch and go. Adams, playing at a safety position, came over to help out the cornerback, and the throw wasn't there, but Fife really wasn't in much of a position to make the catch anyway because Adams didn't bite on the fake.
And you see Jeremy Fife brother of U of M basketball player Dugan,
who was also an all-state quarterback for Clarkston.
And now Jeremy trying to
become an all-state wide receiver.
Trying to do the same thing in the other position. Teague, Marcus Teague to punt.
That almost
got him. And Topher takes it with good field position at about the 46-yard line. So the Colts get good field position now.
And that was number 64, Peter Truza, almost got in there and blocked the punt for Troy. And once again, we'll have to see what Troy can do. They did get Topher that one long run on their last drive, but then the offense stalled. Now if you're Gary Griffith, you figure, well, we were running the ball and we tried to go to the air and that stalled the drive. Maybe we just stay on the ground exclusively, or do you come back and still try and get the passing game going a little bit?
No score, 1:57 left. Here's the handoff, Topher off tackle, and a big gain for the Colts. And this is what they're trying to establish, and on a first down, that's pretty good field position right now.
This will be a telling play as to what they're going to try and do, at least for the rest of the first half, because 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3 is the time to go deep. But if you're just going to say, heck with that, let's just pound them to death and eat up some clock, then they'll just go right back to another running play right now.
Rance, the quarterback. You saw the tailback. Number 32, Jared Topher, and McCarty, the fullback, in the I formation. Two receivers split on the 2nd and 2, and they stack it up.
Gain maybe a yard.
And maybe a yard by Topher. It'll be 3rd and about 1 coming up.
And once again, the Clarkston defense seems to be reading the keys from Troy's offense. There have been several plays where they've just known where the play is going. And even though Troy's got the bigger line, the Clarkston players are there to stop the play.
There you see the big crowd here for this contest. Again, last season, 16-13 the final score. The Troy Colts winning that one. And a little bit of a revenge factor in this one as the Wolves want to make up for that. 3rd and 1.
Well, plus both teams, like I said earlier, picked to finish 1 and 2 in Division 1.
Topher gets it deep in the backfield, gets the first down and more as he's stacked up at about the 36-yard line.
And once again, it's Fife making the tackle, what might have been a touchdown-saving tackle because there wasn't a safety there to help out.
And it's
Fife
not
was
good.
there.
Yeah, it's not good when your defensive backs are making all your tackles.
No,
Let's take a look.
You see Fife come over from a cornerback position. He fights off the block right there and makes the tackle. If he doesn't make the tackle, that's a touchdown.
Fife did all he could, really, to get him down as he had slipped.
Yeah, well, you get low and don't let him run you over. If the running back's bigger, get as low as you can.
Ball at the 36, 1st and 10 for the Troy Colts. Everybody's coming for the Wolves, and they stack it up for maybe about a couple of yards there on the carry by McCarty.
Troy probably setting up to run an option somewhere down the line on this drive, as that'll probably be the last play of the first quarter. But there you run the fullback dive, get it in, and you notice that the entire defensive line converged on that play. Well, now you keep running it, eventually you fake it and run the option outside to Topher and let him take off.
And that will run the clock out here in the first quarter. No score, a defensive struggle here as the Colts and the Wolves try to establish some kind of an offensive attack, and neither one doing it. The Colts have had a couple of big plays with Topher breaking through, but not much after that. It's been a punting display so far. Don't forget to tune in to the Roadshow video. It's back, folks, and we're back to tell you about it. No, I don't think Bubba's going to shoot Pat here, but if you want to make sure, you better tune in tonight at 9 on TCI 63.
They're going to show the new Sheryl Crow video?
I don't know. They've got a whole bunch of good videos, though.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Well, I'm putting a request in for that.
Whole library full of stuff.
Well, good. I never got the White Zombie last year, so I'm going to go for a little more mellow thing this year.
White Zombie.
I never got that play.
You're still going to talk to me about White Zombie.
Going to work on Sheryl Crow.
Good to be here at Clarkston High School. This is the first time we've really had a chance to visit the field here.
Good concessions here, by the way.
Great concessions. we judge the stadiums by concessions, and it's good to be here. Good.
If you're in the area, come to a game here, buy a hot dog, buy the jumbo-size hot dog. They're very good.
And then later on, buy our book that we're going to write about concessions around
high school
Oakland
concessions
County.
in Oakland County, yeah.
Just kidding, folks.
Man inside guard tackle gap.
Here we go. Start the second quarter, the Troy Colts. Ball inside the 35-yard line. Handoff, tailback, Topher breaks into the backfield, has the first down and fumble.
No, he's down.
No, he's down.
Ground, it's that old rule about the ground can't cause a fumble.
That'll
and a
be
few people up here are waiting to see a replay.
Yeah.
But I do think just the way the ball hits, I think that the ground knocked it out.
Let's take a look. This is a tough call.
Watch him just come through, bust loose to the left. Here he'll get flipped. Hits the ground and
comes loose.
Too close to call, but if you're a referee going at full speed on that call, that's the call you make.
Good call by the refs. First down for the Colts. Ball inside the 25-yard line and about the 23. Rance handing off to the tailback again. Topher breaks it outside for about 4 or 5 yards. Let's take a look at the gain on this.
This is your basic traditional Troy offense, just running off tackle left and right. Rance follows his blocking into the hole and then tries to do what he can with his speed, or I should say Topher follows his blocking, tries to do what he can after he gets past the line. Gains 6 or 7 yards on that play.
And the Troy Colt offense doing what they've done in the past. Kurt Richards in the middle of the field there. You see him with the sunglasses leaning forward. Head coach for the Wolves. And a big down right here. McCarty bounces outside of his own man and still driving inside the 5-yard line. First and goal for the Troy Colts now.
And this offense really does seem to be interchangeable parts.
Yeah, McCarty, very, very different from the fullback that they had last year.
Garrett
you
Gould,
had Gould with a 6'4", 6'5" size and a lot of big bulk up there. You got a little guy
last year,
this.
They had 2 fullbacks. They had Scott Hamos also.
That's right.
And both of them would just come in there and bruise you, but it's the same thing. You get the defense so keyed on the tailback that every now and then the fullback busts for about 15 or 20 yards.
McCarty bounced outside, and here bouncing outside with a touchdown, Jared Topher. So the Troy Colts score first with 10:36 left here in the second quarter.
And now, if you're Clarkston, when you get on offense, you're going to have to do something just to maintain some possession because your defense is getting tired. And now we'll see a new kicker for Troy. Last year, Paul Beams, who had kicked a 45-yard field goal against Clarkston, which turned out to be the difference in the game. This year, a new kicker, just not the same comfort factor that you've had the last few years.
It's up. And it is good.
It's a good way to start,
And a flag, though. Both refs throwing flags here. They're pointing at the Clarkston players. Hold on.
You know, Kevin O'Meara with the kick.
Let's see the call here.
And they're calling too many men on the field for Clarkston.
Both refs counted it, too, so they both went up with flags.
Now, I'm guessing that you enforce that on the kickoff.
Yeah.
Which should have Troy kicking off from the other 45-yard line.
Let's take a look. Here's the touchdown.
Just off tackle and barely gets touched at all. And right there, he knows he's in the end zone. And Topher, barring injury, is definitely going to be the 4th tailback in a row to gain 1,000 yards for Troy.
So the Troy Colts, 7-0 lead the Wolves here at Clarkston with 10:36 left in the second quarter. And it was pretty much a running ground attack that the Colts showed us, and that's been their bread and butter the past few years.
They didn't even think about throwing that time, and that's like we mentioned before. If the throwing game isn't there yet, just wait, get the lead, and then experiment a little bit. You know, right now you've got your first game in the league. Next week they have a non-league game against Birmingham Seaholm. A little easier for them than this, and it doesn't count for as much as this either. Right now, get your running game established and get the passing game going when you have to. You've got a new starter. Let him get comfortable. And really, if you can run like they did on that last drive, you don't need to throw.
And to do the kicking now for the Troy Colts, number 31, O'Meara, who got the extra point. And he'll kick from the 45 of Clarkston, back to receive Graves and Mulligan. There you see Graves. Mulligan, number 6. And O'Meara with the kickoff. This should go deep, and it does in the end zone. And it'll be a touchback out to the 20-yard line. So that's where the Wolves will start.
Well, you get that, as you see, the scoring drive, 8 plays. That's what you want. You want to take time off the clock, and you just want to keep possession of the ball. That's 8 plays that the defense had to deal with. Topher finishing it off with the touchdown run. That's a huge factor. Clarkston's got to maintain a little bit of possession here, if for no other reason than their defense is tired.
And the defense has been out there, and not only for that drive. That was a long drive, eating up a lot of yards.
Yeah.
and they are getting worn out. It's a little different when you're out there on offense and you're chewing up yardage.
Well, and when you're the underdog and you're outsized, you've got to strike early, and that's what Clarkston's got to do. They've got to get something in the first half.
Evans drops back on a first down, right across the middle, and intended for the tight end coming across.
Yeah,
Agar.
And I'll tell you, Agar was open earlier and didn't look. He waited to finish the route, and Evans was standing there. I don't know if we can see it from here, but he's looking to throw to him just as he crosses right here. He wants to throw to him. He's waiting for him, and he doesn't look. Now he finally looks, and it gets knocked down. If you look sooner, you've got a seam to throw it through.
And again, it's Truza.
That might be the play, too. We don't know what their playbook is, but you could see him open, and you could see the quarterback just waiting and waiting for him to get there.
Truza knocked it down again. 2nd and 10 now for the Wolves. In motion, Agar. And he's set up top. Hand off to the tailback, Graves. Busts one tackle and pushed forward. Gain of about 5. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up.
Yeah, he busted the tackle by Adam Atkins, the sophomore, the little Atkins. He's the little one. That means that he's 247 pounds. The big Atkins is Torrey Atkins. He's 285, 290. Yeah, that's part of that line that averages 233.
Man, and I'm just trying to get down to 200.
Down to 200. These guys probably want to get bigger. Then you've got McCall at tight end and defensive end, who's 245. I'd hate to be on the scout team at Troy. You just get killed.
Kurt Richardson, the middle of the screen with the sunglasses on. 3rd and 5. Big down here for the Wolves. They've got to get it out of their end of the field. Evans, fumble. Colts recover. Tough break for the Wolves as it looked like he might break it for
Peter Truza
some yardage
forced the
outside.
fumble. Peter Truza, who earlier had almost gotten through to block the punt, forced the fumble that time, and Adam Atkins, the sophomore brother, recovered it.
Let's take a look.
There you see, right here, Truza comes right through, forces the fumble, and it's laying there, and then in this mess of stuff here, Adam Atkins falls on the ball.
Big game defensively for that guy, number 64, Truza, who's knocked down 2 passes, has caused a lot of trouble in there for the Wolves, and now causes a big fumble deep.
And what you saw on the replay was Aaron Miles looked like he had it. He got knocked off it.
Yeah.
Later on, Atkins fell on the ball.
Ball just inside the 20, handoff right up the middle, and nothing there for the Colts as the Wolves stack it up.
Well, they tried to run McCarty in there. Gained 2 yards, that's fine. You keep pushing it inside. Now you probably run off tackle with Topher. Probably come left with it because you got a little more room this way. And you look at where their tight end, McCall, is. He's on the left side. I would look for them to bring it this way.
Topher is out. And in the backfield, it looks like number 22, Adams.
There's that option we were talking about.
The pitch out to Adams. He can't get a handle on it. Ball is loose, and the Wolves get it back. Big break for Clarkston as they get the fumble right back.
Yeah, big break. Great recovery by Brad Agar. And when he watches the film, he's going to kick himself.
Because he could have picked it up and
He could have picked it up and scored a touchdown. There was no one near him except his own teammates. We talked earlier about they were probably setting up to run an option. There they did it, but didn't get the pitch off. It's a new tailback. And right here, you're going to see Agar fall on the ball, and there's nothing but blue around him. But that is get the ball first. That's the smart play.
That's right.
He's not going to be mad. He's just going to kick himself about it because there was an opportunity there.
Here's Agar in motion. Sets up top. Evans hands off to Graves. Graves trying to bounce it outside and gets bounced himself, but gains a few yards twisting and turning. Gain of about 5 for Graves.
Good run by Graves. You know, going back to that option, they ran it left. Right-handed quarterback having to option with his left hand. You're 16, 17 years old. I know he's a basketball player. He's probably got a good left hand and all, but it's still pitching with your weak hand.
There you see Toby Evans, number 21, the quarterback for the Wolves. 8:10 left in the second quarter. The Colts lead 7-0 over the Wolves. 2nd down and 5. Graves off tackle, had a little bit of room, but just couldn't bust through.
Oh, McCarty,
on the tackle.
McCarty made a great tackle. He got low on him, got his legs wrapped up, held him to about a 1-yard gain.
And Graves is limping, so it looks like that hit.
Well, he got wrapped around the ankles.
Yeah.
He probably just twisted something. He'll sit out a play or two. That's nothing. I mean, it hurts right now, but I would be surprised if that's anything other than a slightly twisted ankle.
As the coach used to tell me, it only hurts till the pain goes away.
Exactly.
And he'll be back in there soon. 3rd down and short. 3rd and 3 coming up now. Big play for the Wolves. Do you pass or do you run? Haven't seen much of the pass. They go outside and knocked down by McCall.
How many that's what, 3 passes already
3
knocked
passes
down?
now knocked down. 2 by number 64, Terza, and now McCall with that one.
McCall, 6'3", 245, and a tight end, a good leaper too. He's not just 6'3" with the wingspan, as you can see. He can leap.
There you see McCall. Big size on that guy too,
Yeah,
245.
Your tight end, defensive end, linebacker, whatever. You probably concentrate on the defensive end here because you know you might catch 1 pass every 2 weeks. So work on that defense.
Big stop for the Colts on that one. 4th and 3 now. And the Wolves forced to punt again. Not a great punt, but the roll helps, and it gets it inside the 45 to about the 41-yard line. So the Colts start at the 41-yard line. Good field position again for the Colts.
Oh, yeah, excellent field position. 7 minutes, 9 seconds left in the first half. Plenty of time to actually mount a drive, score, and not leave Clarkston with much. I don't know if Clarkston kept its defense off the field long enough that time or not. We'll find out right here. I'm sure that Griffith's going to go right back to that running game and try to pound it out.
Dave Zorin along with Joe Abramson here for the kickoff of the 1994 season. And what a matchup. The Troy Colts against the Clarkston Wolves. To the tailback. Topher sacked for a loss. Loss of about 5 on that one.
I don't know what happened. Nobody blocked anybody. I mean, you watch this play, none of the Troy linemen are on the ground. They didn't get overpowered. It's just that every one of the Clarkston guys got through.
Look at that. We talked about size and quickness to the coaches, and that was just quickness on the part of the Wolves.
And, you know, we did mention earlier on, they were reading that offense pretty good. They were, you know, it's just every now and then it's been the big play, whether it's a turnover or those long runs, that's been setting things up for Troy.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14, and coming up with a pass here. Rance had a man open in the flat, but he goes downfield and complete to Patrick for the first down. Well, Patrick knew where he had to go to get the first, and he got it.
Sophomore, 6 foot, 150 yards. Obviously, it's his favorite receiver. It's the 3rd time he's looked his way, and he had an open man on the left side. He actually had
you could
Brian
see the
Vanderbeek open. Now, I don't know how Troy's offense works, if you have reads or not, where you look for secondary receivers. But if I'm scouting Troy, I'd be thinking, all right, you obviously have to watch number 7. That's the guy.
Colts.
But it worked. Good pass, good catch.
Colts in the Wolves territory, ball at about the 48-yard line.
Nice move.
And here goes McCarty just running over people. And across the first down marker.
About a 15-yard run.
Yeah, about the 36-yard line.
McCarty showing some moves for a fullback. Just a quick dive right up the middle here. Breaks the tackle there. Right here he puts a move on a linebacker, runs into his own man, and still gains another 5 yards.
Colts on the move. Ball at about the 36-yard line, 1st and 10. Topher outside to the short side and gets close to a first down. Gain of about 7 or 8.
I forgot about that guy.
They had given him a rest, and now he's back. Let's take a look.
Yeah. Counter play, going to the right side. See some good blocking there, fights off an end, and once again, D-back's got to come up and make the play.
They went out of bounds a little bit sooner than we thought. Gain of about 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. Rance to Topher. Topher stacked up at the line. And number 54 there, Nabojcik.
Yeah, along with Agar. Agar helped out too on the weak side there. He might have been shielded from the camera, but both of them held him to about a yard.
And Joe Nabojcik holding his ground right there. 3rd down and about 3 coming up for the Colts.
And realistically, you're in 2-down territory here, though. You're gonna, if you don't get it here, you go for it.
McCarty the fullback, Topher the tailback. Take the draw, go to the air. No, he's running it. A lot of room there for Rance, and he picks up the first down and more.
Well, he couldn't lose either way. He had McCarty open on the bootleg, or he kept it. Not a bad play, because by keeping the ball, obviously you don't have to worry about incompletions or anything like that, but you also buy yourself a free blocker. Right here, he runs the bootleg fake. About this point, he sees McCarty open. He keeps running, and you're going to see, I don't know if we'll see it from this angle, but McCarty makes a block right there, springs him for an extra 5-6 yards.
Yep, good point right there. Got him. Ball at about the 15-yard line. The pitch goes back to Topher. Topher bouncing outside and is bounced out of bounds. Gain of about 2 or 3 yards.
And the refs kind of missed a block in the back there by Troy, but I don't think Troy's complaining. It didn't really affect the play either, so it's probably a good no call. But now they're running short side. It's sort of the George Perlis offense. Now run short side and gain 3 and 4 yards a shot.
Come on, defense!
Second and about 7, gain of about 3.
Go!
Chuck Connor up top of the number 16. This time they go inside. McCarty has some room inside the 5 and close to about the 1 or 2 yard line.
Yeah, there must be something that Troy sees in the Clarkston defense that changes inside the 20-yard line, because that's the second time they've done that from that point on the field, and both times McCarty's gained more than 10 yards on the play. Right here, you see, almost scores once again, and you know, we can't overemphasize this. I don't think another time that a D-back has to make the play. Ryan Chapman that time for Clarkston.
Here we go, first and goal, handoff. Topher touchdown, his second of the day.
Yeah, they go with that power I, 3 backs, 2 fullbacks, and Topher following both of them. That's hard to stop.
The second 3-yarder. For a touchdown. Brings your average down a little bit, but hey, when you get the 6, huh?
Yeah, but those 35-yarders bring it right back up. You see him just follow some nice blocking right there. I think a key block made by number 52. It's Aaron Miles. And once again, he scores almost untouched. You know, Mira, his first extra point attempt looked fine. Looks like they don't have that big of a kicking problem. He looks good.
And it is good. So Mira, 2 for 2 on extra points, and that will quell some of the fears of
yeah, I think it's typical high school coaches, though. They get worried if they have a good kicker and they lose him, they panic, because good high school kickers are hard to find. But I mean, Troy always has good kickers. That's just, as long as I can remember, they have.
And last year was Beams.
Mm-hmm. And it was a couple years ago, Kenya, Josh Butlin. Yeah, Beams had, we know we had a 45-yarder against Clarkston last year. I know I saw a game where he missed a 49-yarder wide right, but he had plenty of distance. The guy could kick, and his kickoffs were always touchbacks.
Yeah.
Now last time, O'Meara's kickoff was a touchback, but he kicked it off from midfield. See this time where this kickoff goes.
Yeah. And not much of a wind, and none really to speak of. So he won't be getting any help here. Let's see what he can do. Gary Griffith on the far sideline, looking on.
Yeah, and he's about to go back into the coaching mode now as they go on defense. On offense, he kind of minds his own business, doesn't do anything. When they get on defense, he takes over.
The kick taken at about the 9-yard line.
Reverse, nope.
Takes the reverse. Mulligan trying to cut outside, almost fumbled. And down at about the 16-yard line. Let's see where they mark it, 17 possibly.
Oh yeah, the block wasn't sustained there on the fake reverse, and he was left out to dry. Watch him fake the reverse right here. He's trying to follow a blocker who's out of the screen right now. And right about now, 26 for Troy. That's Dan Appledorn. Fought off the block and went right in and made the stop.
Here's your scoring drive, 9 plays, 59 yards, 2:39 off the clock.
Yeah, they're not taking time off.
Line.
They keep running out of bounds and stopping the clock because they run those short side running plays, but it's a lot of plays. And again, that defense is getting worn out.
Here's Graves bouncing off tackle and gain of about 4 yards on that.
I think he fumbled. He was carrying the ball a little loose, and Troy's calling the fumble, and I think he did.
Troy's got it on a fumble by the Wolves.
I think Truza recovered it that time.
He's been all over. Let's take a look.
Let's see. He was the last guy up. That's why I said his name. But let's take a look. He's carrying it kind of loose right here. Truza forced. Well, actually, Truza didn't force it. 40 forced it.
Yeah.
And
Conley, Joe
we can't
Conley
tell
got
who this
in
guy
there.
is right here. Yep. Is that Topher?
Yeah. Yep.
32
Topher.
He's everywhere.
Topher and Terza.
See, Topher doesn't realize how important this is because he's playing in front of like writers and stuff that pick all state teams. And whatever else he does, all they know is the one game they saw and said, man, he's the man now.
Colts pick up the turnover at the 20-yard line. Straight dive by McCarty, gain of maybe a yard or two. And at 3:40 and counting down here in the second quarter.
now 3:37. Clarkston is probably panicking a little because it's going to be hard to keep Troy out of the end zone now, and you're going to be down 21-0 at halftime, barring a miracle.
This is where the Clarkston Wolves need to toughen up defensively. If they can hold them off here,
they need a break. They need to make something happen. They've forced the turnover earlier. They're going to have to do it again. 14-0
is a lot better than 21 going into halftime. And there it is, a big play defensively by the Wolves. That's what they needed. It was 2nd and 8, and they got a big loss on that one.
Well, there's the option that second time they've tried to run it. This time they run it right. The right-hander makes the better pitch, but there was no blocking at all.
Let's take a look.
Watch right here. It doesn't really try to sell the fake on the fullback, and I think that's got a lot to do with why the play didn't work. You've got to really fake that into the fullback and make the defense suck in. They don't, so they stay spread out.
Getting in there first was Nolan.
There's only so many guys you can block to the outside.
And number 3, Wesser on the outside.
Jared Topher nearing the 100-yard mark before halftime.
On the screen and complete, and a big defensive stand for the Wolves as they had to come up big here and stop the Colts.
Now we'll find out just how much confidence those extra points have given Gary Griffith in O'Meara. Because a year ago, this is a definite field goal situation. Now it's 4th down, you're at the 20.
And you're looking at about call down there.
Yeah, you're looking at about a 40-yard field goal, give or take a yard. You might just go for it anyway. I think he's going for it. That's what they're calling the timeout for. I don't see number 31 out there.
Yep.
You know, if you go for the field goal and you don't make it, well, big deal. They get it at the 20 instead of the 21.
And don't forget to tune into the Master Anglers program. I think he added an S on there because Mark didn't want to be the only Master Angler. So he's talking about everybody who's a Master Angler. And look at the size of those fish.
I ordered one of those at Burger King today.
That's Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63.
These are the people that were trying to take our job earlier.
Yeah. And you think these guys up here would have been mad if we're up here? Boy, with all those people up here, they'd be really upset.
There, now they got their TV, and there is the Master Angler.
Master Angler himself.
Or one of the Master Anglers. We can't, you know.
One of the many Master Anglers across
What do you have to do to qualify for that title? Is that like
catch fish?
You know, being like a Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts or something? Or?
No, catch fish or something.
Catch a lot of fish or something.
I just wanted to say
Couch
that.
fishing.
Or something. 2:28 left in the second quarter. Colts going forward here, 4th and 12. Rance back to pass. Rance got it, man. No, almost out there. Good coverage by Jeremy Fife. He overthrew his intended receiver out there. And that was number 12 out there.
Yeah, we don't have a 12 on our roster, so we don't know who he is. But whoever he is, Fife gave him soft coverage right here. I think Rance wanted to go deep on a fade pattern with him. Problem is you can't run it if the D-back won't let you. And Fife stayed back and figured, get it to him, fine, I'll tackle him. But he's not beating me deep.
Right.
And in that case, you're supposed to adjust the route and adjust the throw and come underneath. That wasn't done, therefore they don't get the first down.
Yeah, they were looking at the mismatch in height, but it just didn't happen. Good defensive coverage back there.
Well, like I say, if the guy plays soft like he did, you're just not going to do it. I don't care how much taller you are.
The big story is the Wolves hold on defensively.
Yeah, that's the big defensive series they needed. Now they got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to try and get into field goal position or maybe get a touchdown. But realistically, their offense hasn't done anything. The only time they've been in Troy territory was when they made the defensive play to put the ball there inside the 20 right off the start.
Here's Graves again, and stacked up there. Gain of about 1 or 2. It'll be 2nd and long coming up here.
See, now,
1:56 and counting down.
You know, and if you're Clarkston, I don't know if you really want to throw because you're going to stop the clock and maybe give Troy another shot at scoring if you don't move the ball.
Pro set, I formation. Evans gets hit immediately as he unloads, and that was knocked down again.
I think that was
intended out there for Fife.
Yeah, it was Truza again.
Let's take a look.
He's another guy that's all over the field.
He's got his hands up in the air. Look at that.
Right here. Well, there's 44 knocking him, and then Truza knocks the ball away.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Terry. You say it. I can't say that. Sorry.
Kazoo's in there.
I hope we got that right, Terry. But Colts have not allowed a first down today. We must have like a new stat guy or something. I think it's Cosmo.
A good
No, he's not
pointer.
here.
as the Wolves really need to pick up a first down, get out of their end of the field. The play has been pretty much the whole half right there at the end of the field.
It's been real easy on our cameraman.
Bouncing outside, trying to get some yardage, and McCall there to knock him down.
Troy, I would think, would call a timeout now.
Bevins on the carry.
I guess not. You got a minute and just under a minute and a half left.
Dragging that around, ain't it?
You might want to.
I guess going in 14-0 is good enough, unless they can block the punt. They did almost block one earlier, and again, it was Truza who almost got through. See if they have a punt block on.
Here's Bevins getting stacked up, and you see McCall
and
wrangle him down.
Everybody else, McCall and friends.
4th and...
I'll tell you, they got 10 guys on the line. I think they're going for the block.
8 or 9. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Teague the punt, gets it off. It's a low one and a short one at about the 44-yard line and rolls across to the 47. And the clock stopped at about 47 seconds. So the ball's at the 47, the clock stopped at 47, and the Colts have a chance to get a couple more points on the board.
Remember, Troy only has 2 timeouts left, and the clock is going to start again once the chains are set. We'll have to see if they're going to try and just run this out or set up for some field position. Apparently, they're just going to run the ball.
Okay, the clock starts now. 1st and 10 from about the 47-yard line. The draw. Topher trying to break it outside. Topher,
Nice
he should go out of bounds, but he stays in.
He couldn't get out. He couldn't get out.
He had a chance to go out of bounds.
But the officials will stop the clock, and Troy will use one of its 2 timeouts here. The officials will stop it to move the chains. And there you go. Troy's calling it 2nd timeout of the day.
Yeah.
Here's the draw. Sees daylight to the outside, busted outside. McCall makes a nice block right there. Springs him for a little more. Right here, Topher's trying to find a way to get out of bounds. He's just not able to.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was trying to break it because if he got past that guy, he would have gained a lot more yardage. And they do have the timeout, so either way,
once
a good
again,
move there.
Ryan Chapman, number 1, a cornerback, seems to be their leading tackler, which is not good, especially when the team's not throwing on you. It's one thing if you're tackling receivers. He's tackling running backs.
So it's the Troy Colts in their running game. He's dominated in the past, and they're doing it again.
Just how involved Gary Griffith is in the offense. They've got a timeout with under a minute left in the first half, and he's talking to the coach on the sidelines. Well, they've got their offensive coordinator out in the huddle on the field, and Topher's got a shot at 100 before halftime.
97 yards on 19 carries for Jared Topher.
I'll tell you, Griffith reminds me of, we mentioned this last year, I think, but it's the exact opposite of what you see at a Brother Rice game. When Brother Rice goes on defense, Alfred Casa goes off into a corner like Griffith's doing right now and does nothing, which is great because if you have that much confidence in your coordinators, your offensive and defensive coordinators, you're prepared for the game, and it works. And obviously it works for Troy. They're in the playoffs every year.
Yep. That also means your offensive coordinators move on to head coaching jobs somewhere,
unless you pay them a lot.
Here we go, 1st and 10. Colts, Rams, back to pass. He's got a man open. Complete to Patrick.
Nope.
No, incomplete. He dropped it.
Good hit.
Ooh.
Number 1, Shipman again.
He was sandwiched down there.
Yeah, I think Shipman made the play again. Patrick, again, sophomore, he's 150 pounds.
Well, you saw the ground cause a fumble before. Let's see.
Post pattern.
He had his
here.
back to us, though. Let's see right here.
Watch Shipman.
Boom. Yeah.
He never had the ball. And number 40, Chad Chandler, combined. Actually, the throw was there. Everything worked great. It's just both offense and defense executed everything perfectly.
Yeah. Good defensive coverage down there in the hitting aspect.
He's got him underneath. Nope.
He's going to take off, and he's going to get hit hard.
Well, that time he had Patrick underneath, would have been about a 10-yard gain. Instead, Rance kept it, went up the middle, and they're going to use their last timeout right now with 11 seconds left. It's going to be 3rd down. Here you see Rance with the fake, looks around, doesn't really get much time. Good penetration by the Clarkston defense, and now he takes off. Might have been pretty hard to actually make that throw. Now you've got a decision. You don't have a timeout left. It's 3rd down. Even though it's only 3rd and 2, you've really got to go to the end zone. If you don't get it, you got time for one more play, and you decide whether or not you think you can kick a field goal or you just throw it in the end zone on 4th down anyway.
So the Colts call timeout here with 11 seconds left here in the first half. 9 first downs this half for the Troy Colts. Just eating up the clock and favor their possession.
And we're assuming that our stat guy knows that touchdowns are first downs, so that those 2 touchdowns are included in the first downs. But I don't know. He's looking at me like I'm crazy.
With 11 seconds left, it's a 3rd and 2 situation. They're probably heading for the end zone with 10 seconds left. Let's see what happens. Looking into the end zone. Rance takes it himself. Fumble. Topher comes up with it.
See, that's the situation, really. Rance has to throw it anyway. The clock's run out. You got to throw it in the end zone and stop the clock. Doesn't matter. They're up 14-0. That's the end of the half, whatever happened on the fumble.
See, right here, he should have unloaded when he didn't see anybody down there.
Yeah, you've only got 11 seconds. You don't, heave it into the end zone. They're not going to call you for grounding if you throw it through the end zone. This doesn't happen. Here he fumbles. That doesn't matter at this point. You know, it's just the play's over, the half's over. Go in up 14-0 and be happy with it.
So that's it. A defensive struggle in the first quarter turns into an offensive explosion for the Troy Colts in the second as they lead 14-0 over the Clarkston Wolves here at halftime. We'll be back with the halftime stats for you and the second half kickoff after these messages. Stay with us.
If you wish a video cassette of TCI Sports, the cost is $25. Send a check payable to TCI, along with your name, address, and the names of the teams that played in the game, to TCI Sports Videotapes, 4500 Delamere Boulevard, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Remember to tell us which game you wish to receive. And thank you for watching TCI Sports.
The TCI Sports Game of the Week. This week we're at Clarkston High School and the Troy Colts lead 14-0 here at halftime. Dave Zorin along with Joe Abramson here. And you can see the beautiful view from end zone to end zone. So far the Troy Colts have been in the end zone twice. 156 yards rushing to Clarkston's 11, 20 yards passing to Clarkston's 3. Total yards 176 to 14. And first downs 9-0. That's
first
the big.
Is huge.
That is the big stat right there.
Yeah,
2 turnovers apiece.
Total yards is pretty huge too. You know, obviously rushing. You know, you always mention quarterback sacks are included in that, but
yeah, you need the first downs to move the ball. Yeah,
and it shows up on the scoreboard. And here you see number 32 Topher following on his first touchdown, following actually number 52 Aaron Miles, a lineman lined up at fullback, but followed him into the end zone for his first touchdown.
That was a 3-yarder, and then he came right back with a 2-yard touchdown run with 4:30 left in the second quarter.
And this is not the same play you just saw. It just looks like it.
Just looks like it. It was so successful the first time. They tried it again. It worked. And the extra points by O'Meara, good, and it makes it 14-0 here at halftime. The Clarkston Wolves, again, they need to pick up some first downs, and they need to do it. Well, they try to do it through the air, and the big number 64 has been there
Truza,
for the Colts.
Well, he's been there. McCall's been there. I'm sure at halftime they've made adjustments, and one of them, I'm sure, as you look at this big crowd here at Clarkston, I'm sure it's going to be switched from the 3-step drop to a 5-step drop or a 7-step drop even. But somehow or another, they've got to get the quarterback farther back from the line, and maybe spread it out more. Passing over the middle is not working.
He's getting pressured right away, and that is not helping the passing game at all for the Clarkston Wolves. The offense has run the ball pretty much, and Graves has had a tough time trying to turn the corner. They've tried to run him off tackle, and not much success there either. He's had a couple of good runs, but they've been negated with some losses too.
Yeah, he's had the occasional good run. Nothing like what we've seen Topher do. Topher, I think, has got 97 yards in the first half. But, I think after that first drive where it looked like Clarkston was doing well, using their quickness and everything, as time wore on, the size of Troy started to wear them down, and it's had its effect so far. And you see Gary Griffith looking like a coach, 14-0 lead, looks concerned.
On the other side, Kurt Richardson, who was looking on right before Gary Griffith. That's the time, halftime is the time when the coach gets involved.
Yeah.
And he's got to get this team going.
One thing, talked to Coach Richardson before, and he said, you know, you definitely would rather have not opened the season with a league game. Whether it's Troy, Adams, whoever, you just don't want to open with a league game. It's kind of tough. For Troy, same problem, but they're used to opening up with Clarkston and following it with Seaholm the week after. It's the same thing they always have. A lot of teams had to deal with that this year with the new league just because you have contracts with schedules and stuff and you can't really flip-flop too much. And so since they're going to have to play them anyway on crossovers, they kept it as is. But for Troy, it's probably not as big of a deal to open with Clarkston because they're used to it. And granted, Clarkston's used to opening with Troy, but still, it's a league opener.
Yeah.
Whereas for Troy,
there's a lot more on the line.
Oh, yeah. Seaholm's always been like their second biggest rivalry after Athens, so it's just a normal thing for them.
Only the names have changed.
Exactly. And, well, names of the league, yeah.
Graves and Mulligan back to receive. It'll be Mulligan at about the 10-yard line. Mulligan trying to cut it outside, but gets wrapped up at about the 15-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the same thing we saw in their last kick return. Number 26, Dan Appledern, again, fights off the block and makes the tackle. A guy, I don't know if people, how much they follow the NFL or know names, but a guy named Steve Tasker plays for the Buffalo Bills, probably the best special teams player ever. This is what he does, fights guys off and gets the tackle. Appledorn didn't actually have to fight the block off. That was number 82, Frank McCormick, but that brought on two blockers, and that gave Appledorn a straight shot. These guys, their special teams play is excellent.
Here we go, start the second half, and the Wolves come out passing. And the first down of the game comes up for the Clarkston Wolves, and it's the first play of the second half. So that's where, again, halftime comes in handy. The coaches get a chance to regroup and talk to their players. Let's take a look.
Drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-step drop. He's back a little farther, buys some time. Then he still has to scramble out of the way, but at least it's not knocked down, and it actually turns into a first down. They're going to have to go with it. The running game's not working. This is what they're going to have to do.
Yep. Agar picks up the first down for the Wolves here in this contest, and it comes with the first play of the second half.
Right. Get a couple more of those, set up the runs later.
And here we go. They set up the run on the second play, which is a first down carry for about 3 yards, 3 or 4. Oh, good gain of about 4.
Yeah, well, here you see this. I thought maybe they'd wait a few plays before they did this. You see, again, Graves going through, getting 2-3 yards. Well, actually got about 4, but I thought if you spread it out a couple pass plays in a row, you're going to force the linebackers to come off a little bit farther to the outside. Then you can run those quick dives up the middle. And if you can get past the lineman, you're going to gain 8 yards instead of 3.
Second down and 6 now for the Wolves. Mixing it up with a pass and a run now. Evans to go to the air again. Pressure by McCall and brought down by number 55. Good pressure defensively by Atkins.
The little Atkins.
Yeah, the little Atkins.
Little Atkins.
At 240, 245.
Little, tiny. It's like be Mr. and Mrs. Atkins having to feed them.
Let's take a look.
There's the long drop, but he doesn't even have a chance to look for an open receiver. He's just at the mercy of the defense. McCall missed him. Atkins came in, finished it off. I don't know, Clarkston at this point, you really don't know what you're supposed to do here. The running game's not working, and if you can't buy any time for your quarterback, it doesn't matter how good he is or how good his receivers are. You know, Joe Montana's not going to get the ball off in that situation.
Loss of 3, 3rd and 9. To the air again. This time's got some protection. Intercepted. And he's down at about the 41-yard line. Big interception out there, and it looks like number 82, McCormick.
Yeah, it was. That throw was just overthrown. That time he had time to throw. Step back, just overthrew him. You see here, the line does a good job this time.
He has time, but throws into traffic, really overthrows his man. I don't see the receiver trying to go for this ball here.
Yeah, he did. He did. He stretched out. That's why I knew he'd overthrow it.
There we go.
Evans had him out there, but he just overthrew it. McCormick made a good interception, and if he hadn't slipped, he probably would have scored.
My apology was intended for Fife, and I didn't see him. I thought it was the far side receiver. The first play is a tailback dive right up the middle for Topher, and a gain of about 3 or 4 in that one. Let's take a look.
Here on the snap. A little off tackle left. A little trouble on the exchange there, but Topher covered that up real quick. Got himself 2 yards, maybe 3. Troy will probably be content to keep doing this now.
Second and long, here we go. Colts on the move again in Wolves territory. Downfield and almost intercepted, coming back Fife that time.
Yeah, just as I say, they'll be content to do that. Of course, they bootleg and try a pass. And Rance, looking for McCarty, had Patrick downfield deep, went with the safe pass, and Fife really hit himself back there pretty well. He just came up on instinct and made the play, almost made the interception.
Stuff him in the backfield!
That's a tough defensive backfield there for the Wolves, and they have kept him in there. And the line has got to come through here. 3rd and about 7 coming up.
Yeah, they'll probably run that draw again.
Here's the pitch, Topher outside, and they force it outside. Good play out there by number 3. Dennis Wisser on that to knock him out of bounds.
Yeah, the blocking wasn't there. The linebackers were able to come up and help contain him. See right here, a quick toss outside to the short side of the field once again. It's one of those plays where you know right off the bat whether it's going to work. If the receivers and the end get the block, he's got a chance. They didn't, and there you see the defensive backs coming up along with the linebackers. Never a chance to make that.
Now, if Wisser didn't force him out of bounds, Graves would have been there. And here the Colts to punt. A shank off the side of the foot, and it's still in bounds and finally down as it was coming back by number 43 for the Colts right there. And that is Corky McCarthy, excuse me, to get it at about the 23-yard line.
Yeah, so you see that this gives Gary Griffith something to yell at everybody about, because, you know, coaches always got to get on you about something, especially if you win big. Come in and go, well, our punting game's got to improve. You know, coaches are like that, especially successful coaches take their teams to the playoffs.
He looks calm. I cannot picture Gary yelling.
Well, he's a coach. All coaches yell.
He's very nice to us.
He's very nice, but I'm just assuming because it's in the coach's handbook.
Here's Graves stacked up in the backfield, and this will be a big loss for the Wolves as they tried to get some room to work with and instead go backwards.
Of course, at the same time, if I was a coach and I had guys like that, I wouldn't yell at anybody because fear of my life. And look, I mean, McCall and everybody else. McCarty came in on that. Jerkowski was in on that.
So 2nd and about 15 now, and the Wolves get themselves in a hole again. They need to get out of this. They've got to get that quick drop back you mentioned, Joe, and they've got to get some time for Evans to throw. They go with the draw. Graves gets it back almost to the original line of scrimmage. Let's see if he got back there. It'll be 3rd and almost 10 coming up.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 10. Now you know you've got to throw the ball. Not a bad move. Again, high school, a lot of coaches go with that, or they go with screen passes in these situations. But you've got to have the guy that can get not only past the lineman when you need 15 yards, he's got to get past the linebackers, and then you got to hope, if he can do all that, which he didn't do, that he can outrun the defensive backs. It's a lot to ask out of one running back.
Toby Evans on a 3rd and 10, deep in his own territory. Sends Mulligan in motion. And delay of game, looks like. Looks like a little too much time.
Yeah, flag was thrown from the defensive backfield. That would probably be the call. Yeah.
So as they get back to the original line of scrimmage, this will knock them back 10 yards, or excuse me, 5, and that'll give them another 3rd and 15 coming up. Let's go down to the field. Nope, well, they won't hear this one.
Heard the whistle. About it.
Yeah, you know, these guys...
it's their first game of the year, too.
Well, they're not used to wearing those microphones, so...
We're not
That's understandable. Hey, yeah, look, listen to us.
Yeah.
3rd and 15. Evans. Evans looked a little bit unsure of himself back there.
I'll tell you, not the worst thing in the world for him to do, actually.
Yeah.
He thought he had Fife coming across the middle, and Fife went to where the first down had to be. You're going to see right about here, he's looking, he sees Fife.
Right there.
Right here, and then he holds off, and what you don't see there is the zone coverage that...
If he'd thrown it, it may have been an interception.
Yeah, at best it was going to be incomplete, and Jeremy Fife would have been lit up if it had touched his hands, so not a bad play.
Okay, back to punt. Marcus Teague to do it again. They need a good one right here. Teague in his own end zone. It's a good high one. It's going to be a little short. Topher almost lost it, but hangs on. And the ball is at about the 38-yard line. So the Colts again with great field position.
Yeah, Topher, that's the third time he's had to fair catch it because those punts are getting so high. It's the second time we almost saw Truza block the punt.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you could tell Troy didn't have a block on. They had a return set up. You don't need it. They're inside the 40. You don't need that many yards to score again.
The big crowd here at Clarkston High School to cheer on the Wolves, and they've got to come up and get some big offensive plays. Right now, they've got to stop them defensively. And falling forward is McCarty for a couple. It's McCarthy, excuse me. Oh, McCarty. There's a McCarthy.
Yeah, that was McCarty.
McCarty.
And then you saw, I believe, Chandler along with Neboychik on the tackle. They're going to have to make a lot more of those if Troy, as I would guess, is going to keep going up the middle with it.
We're in the third quarter. The score 14-0. The Colts lead, and the Colts threatening again. Rance back to pass. Complete, has his man down the sideline. Patrick, gain of about 8 yards.
All right, so here's how you know Troy's throwing. This is how you know Troy's throwing. Every time I tell you they're going to keep going up the middle all day with it, they throw. So when Griffith watches this, I hope he appreciates how bad he's making me look. But obviously, again, Patrick is definitely his receiver. I'm sure these guys must have been working out together all summer because there does seem to be an instinct there. Patrick ran the route, turned, and the ball was there. He didn't have to wait for him.
Gain of 7. It'll be 3rd and 3. I formation. And the tailback, Topher, breaks it outside for the first down. Colts pick up a big first down on 3rd. And now get a chance to run out the clock a little more with 5:31 left. Let's take a look.
Well, did he get out of bounds, then you won't be able to run the clock out. But that's what we've been seeing all day. Topher just running off tackle and kicking it to the outside after he gets past the line of scrimmage.
Pro set, I formation for Rance. Ball at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. Topher falling forward for maybe 2 or 3.
Hey, I don't know if you can see it from there, but that was Neboychik again with the tackle. Just grabbed his feet as he went by and tripped him up.
2nd and 8 coming up now. And going out is Topher.
He's got to be a little tired. And we also see him playing great on defense as well. All those guys, they have over 50 guys in the team. They've got two-way players.
They get somebody in there. Patrick comes in, number 7 brings in the play.
Yeah, you just saw Griffith again. They're on offense, so he's contemplating the defense.
Split backs now. In motion is number 12, who we don't have a name for. Excuse us. I'm not getting that. Rance takes it himself. First down for Kyle Rance as he just bowls forward, put his helmet down, excuse me, and just bowled forward.
Do you think that was the play?
No. I don't think so. Let's take a look.
Look at this.
He was shaking his head back in the huddle.
Yeah, I think he's looking for the tailback. And remember, Topher just went out. There's a new tailback in there.
Yeah.
And he didn't run the play.
And they didn't line up in the I formation. They've been doing that.
Yeah.
And I believe Adams, who's in there, lined up in a split formation in the backfield.
First down off a busted play.
The pitch back to Adams. Adams flagged down in the backfield. Good read back there by number 5 defensively, Vandermeer. P.J. Vandermeer, great penetration back there.
Now there's a quick guy. Nobody had a chance to block him.
Let's take a look at how quickly he gets in there.
Here's the pitch. Right there, there's no blocking. He's already in the backfield. He basically followed him through.
He took 2 steps, and Vandermeer was already all over him. And it's 2nd down and 14 after that loss.
And they've still got Adams in there at tailback.
Yeah, Adams still in there. I formation. 2 receivers up top. And they'll go that way. He's got a man open, and he hung on a little too long. He had number 12 out in the flat open.
Well, I tell you, he also had number 5, Benson.
Yeah. Benson was a little deeper, but if he just wanted a sure pass, he had his man open out in the flat. Instead, they get knocked back for another loss, which they've got about 3rd and 20 coming up.
Again, this is a junior quarterback, his first varsity start on offense. He started on defense last year. Trying to look downfield, doesn't have a lot of time, to be fair. He's got to get rid of it. You got to have a quick release to pull that off. that's something he'll get with experience. And there,
Vandermeer came all the
That
way from
guy's-
the backside to show you his quickness
yeah,
to
you
get
can tell this guy's all over the field.
3rd and 21. The Colts going far sideline and overthrown, and being out there again is number 3. Good defensive coverage by Dennis Wisser here on this side.
And once again, you're in a position where you're going to go for it. Just because punting is not an option, and I don't, well, gee, so as I say that,
Well, they did it
Gary
last
Griffith
time.
is just making me look like a genius. They're going to go for the field goal.
Let's see what happens.
Now, they sent the kicker
Yeah,
out.
they got him.
O'Meara.
Yep. Here's O'Meara now.
I don't know if you could hear from the sideline, Mike, the coaches yelling, watch the fake.
2:56 left here in the 3rd quarter. Let's take a look. O'Meara to kick. That is a 41-yarder, and it's way short. So O'Meara couldn't get enough on that one.
You're up 14-0, and your defense doesn't appear to be breaking down. Maybe this is the time to find out what your kicker can do for future games.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt him. It's a punt, really, when you're deep in this territory right here.
Yeah.
Don't forget to tune in next week as the Kimball Knights take on the Rochester Falcons. That's Saturday and Monday at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63. Next week's Game of the Week.
How did Kimball get that? That's a crossover
That's
game.
got to be a crossover
But,
game.
oh, wow. That's 2 playoff
Yeah, it
teams
is.
from last year, but that's not an equal matchup.
Now, and here, not an equal matchup. Evans goes down after the sack by number 66, Kowalik. Adam Kowalik getting in there.
Of course, now that I said that, Kimball will probably upset him, so that's the way things are going. Here you see the defense still.
Nobody touches Kowalik.
Barely, yeah. I think
Except-
he bought a little contact
Yeah.
just to have some fun there, it seems like.
Yeah, he just saw Graves and just hit him, but
Yeah.
then just kept going.
Said, okay, I'll hit Evans now. He's got the ball. That defense is not letting up at all.
It was the defensive player who hit the offensive at the time. It
he was
wasn't
looking for the contact.
He just went in there for the contact.
Yeah.
Those defensive guys
Just
are nuts.
hit whoever I can.
Here's Evans.
Oh, nice.
Dumps it off and incomplete.
Well, he wasn't
That
going
was-
anywhere anyway.
Graves had it, but he would have been covered. He may have gotten
There's
a
a
couple
flag
out
on
of
the
that.
play. He might have been over the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
Yeah,
Not
let's
sure.
see.
Personal foul. You know what they called that on?
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering if they would. After he dropped the ball, after Graves dropped it, the Troy defensive back came in and hit him. A little late, yeah, well, I don't know if we have it on the replay or not. It happened kind of quick and regular speed, but I guess we're not going to see it. But that's a
But
real
explain it
judgment
to us,
call.
Joe.
That's a judgment call by the official, which I guess probably was the right call, actually. You know, you hit him late. He doesn't have the ball, and he's on the ground, so even if he had caught it, he'd be down.
Roughing the passer on the defense. Automatic first down.
Well, that wasn't what I
There
thought
we
he
go.
called. I never saw that. I thought he was calling on the hit after Graves dropped the ball.
Yeah. Well, I saw him move his arm the first motion. I
Yeah.
thought it was on the passer, but
You know, I just saw Graves get up looking like he wanted something.
you had me sold.
I was convinced. I was totally convinced. But
Okay,
let's
here
see
he
if we.
unloads.
You see, we still can't see. But right here, you're going to see him get hit. And
Yeah,
that's what I thought they were calling.
I got you. Either way.
Yeah, somebody got a penalty for something.
So thanks to you, we missed that play, Joe.
I'm sorry. But you didn't miss much. You missed a 4-yard gain.
5.
5. Oh, and that was
Second and
Vandermeer. That's the defensive star now doing
Now
some
in the
offense.
backfield. I think so. 1:42 left here in the 3rd quarter. Second and 5, and everybody's in motion. Fife goes back up top. Agar comes to the bottom. Evans unloads and overthrows Fife. Intended for Jeremy Fife out there. And had he just had a little bit lower trajectory on that, he might have had him.
I'll tell you, obviously, Coach Richardson saw something because he set that up perfectly. First, there was nobody split out left. Fife was split right. They started flip-flopping tight ends, put Fife the other way. The defense stayed the same, so they weren't in a man-to-man coverage, or if they were, it was just pick the man on your side, not this guy gets Fife. And he beat his man on the left side, and yeah, if you get the throw there, that's a touchdown.
Clock stopped at 1:22 left here in the 3rd quarter. Evans back to pass, has time, now scrambles out. Goes to his left, throws left, and almost intercepted out there by number 21, Jamie O'Brien, as he was covering Graves out there.
Yeah, he was looking for Graves. It wouldn't have been a first down anyway. Now they're going to have to punt. So, you know, the funny thing is, there's a minute 15 left in the 3rd, and to this point, Troy's dominated the game like you can't believe. Fact is, you hit that pass to Fife, and it's a 7-point game.
Yeah,
it's one
just
of the
like
things,
that.
When you play a team that's like a Troy, dominates you physically, but they don't score a lot of points, funny things happen. And that's got to be what Clarkston's thinking right now. They know the play to Fife was there. I'm sure they're going to go back to it.
Yeah, Clarkston just want to make sure that they're the ones laughing if funny things happen. That's all. Right? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's Teague back to punt. Low snap. And no pressure, though, as he gets off a good one. At about the 34, it hits and winds up inside the 25. And Topher is hit hard at about the 35-yard line. But he springs back up.
Good alert play by Topher, though. The ball was bouncing, and he kept looking upfield to see how close the Clarkston defenders were. He saw that he had time to pick it up and pick up a few yards anyway. Ended up getting about 10 or 15 on that return.
This is the deepest they've been in their end of the field this half with 1:03 left in the third quarter. Ball at about the 37-yard line. 1st and 10.
And Topher's back in at tailback.
Again, pro set for Kyle Rance. I formation in the backfield. The pitch to the tailback. Topher looking for room and tries to squeak out a couple of yards as Clarkston strings it out real good to the short side.
Right now, well, probably about one more play left in this quarter. Now here's the same short side running they've been doing. Every now and then it gains them about, 10 yards or so. That time only gained them about 3, but it's still always moving forward. It's very rare that Troy doesn't gain something.
And really surprising that they got 3 out of that, too. It was just bunched up toward the sideline. This time McCarty breaks it up the middle. 1st down at about the 45 or 44-yard line. Dan McCarty on a quick opener right up the middle.
McCarty's had 3 or 4 of those, and he's got a cramp right now.
Oh, those hurt.
Yeah, and you can...
Got one right in the calf.
Yep. But here, I think it's about the 3rd time we've seen this. Just a quick dive up the middle, and the line clears it out for him. All he's got to do is run. And right about there is when he picks up that cramp. And you see the coaches, well, you don't see them right now, but there they are.
Oh, those hurt.
Yeah.
Had one the other night. I felt one coming on. I said, oh, no, don't do this to me. And this time, well, it happens more to these athletic guys rather than me. But,
well, I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. But
Dan will be all right. 8 carries, 60 yards. Hey, I'll take that.
He's overlooked.
I'll take that every night. Look at that. 8 carries, 60 yards. That's a darn good average.
And he's opened the holes for Topher, who's gained over 100.
The hardest working man in show business.
The fullback. Well, tight end's pretty hard working too.
Well, we hope it's a cramp. It looked like it was.
Well, when you start lifting the leg up like that.
Yeah. So Dan will hopefully be back in there. Don't forget, again, the Road Show video program right after the game tonight. And Beavis and Butthead are not on the show. That is Bubba and Pat. They'll be hosting. And look at that gun. Is that one of your Clint Eastwood type things?
What does the shirt say, though? I don't know. Pat looks like Beavis, though.
You think so?
But that's some sort of reference to Detroit that I'm sure Dennis Archer doesn't want to hear about.
Something about Detroit or something. How's that?
That was cool.
Yeah, one of the pretty Clarkston cheerleaders trying to cheer their team on as they've had a rough going here tonight.
That must be a serious cramp out there, 'cause they still haven't gotten him to move. You see the ball boys just looking, or water boys.
Yeah, it's not that serious
looking
because
at that.
you would have a lot of players around him right now.
Yeah.
So it is that cramp, and that thing hurts so much. And here comes McCarty. He's up. And
he looks all right now.
He'll be back. Dan McCarty.
He'll probably be back in one play.
8 carries, 60 yards, so good night for him. And you better believe he wants to get back in there and get his 100 yards, too.
And, it's funny because all the talk has been about Topher having to follow in the footsteps of E.J. Howell and a Ray Dowd. McCarty's had to follow Garrett Gould.
Garrett Gould, the big fullback.
And he's doing a good job of that, too.
20 seconds left here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 for the Colts after the first down carry by McCarty.
and most likely the last play of the third quarter, unless they throw, which they seem to do whenever I think they won't.
Clock starts down to 14 and counting down. Handoff, Topher breaks it into the backfield and gets the first down. Spins out to about the 30-yard line. Big gain for Topher again.
And once again, Chapman has to be there to help make the stop.
You talk about speed. He gets up to that line of scrimmage from the tailback
to
position.
the line, yeah.
So quick, and he just blew by everybody.
You know, it's what we mentioned earlier. They haven't lost yards hardly on any plays. That's why. He's not going to lose yards because he's there so quick.
He was spun around. I think we almost had a face mask there, and then the Clarkston player realized it and let go, and that's what spun him around there. But no call, as it was not an intentional and really not that flagrant.
And the ref must not have seen it anyway. So.
And we have the obvious advantage of replays up here.
Right.
And that'll end the third quarter. No scoring in that third quarter, but the Colts are happy just as well. They had time to eat the clock up and keep that Clarkston defense out there and wear them down for the fourth quarter as we head into it now. 14-0. The Troy Colts lead, and a beautiful sunset here at Clarkston High School. You can see the church steeple off to the left, and just a picturesque scene as we look north.
Somewhere off to your right is Pine Knob.
And
big 9 Inch Nails concert tonight.
Oh, is that what we're missing?
That's what we're missing.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna get me tickets for that.
Well, you said you had to work tonight.
9 Inch Nails. What do they do? What song do they do?
They're huge.
What do they do?
Nothing you've ever heard.
I'm just Our director said
You're just
not
too
in touch
old.
with the youngsters, the youth of today.
Every kid watching this game knows who they are.
But as long as I'm doing the games every week here, I'm happy. I'll keep in touch that way. I'm just getting old, folks.
They have a song called Closer.
Here we go. First play, fourth quarter. Topher fumbles, but that's okay. He got it back for himself, and a good gain, though, for Topher nonetheless. Gain of about 6 yards. It'll be 2nd and 4 coming up.
Now you're even getting the bounces to go your way.
Everything seems to be going the Colts' way. Let's take a look.
Look at this. Follows McCarty through the line. This ball bounces right up to him. Basketball wouldn't have bounced any cleaner.
And right there, Ryan Chapman would have been there to make the recovery had he not picked that one up. 2nd and 4, just underway here in the fourth quarter. Dave Zorn along with Joe Abramson at Clarkston High School. Split backfield now for Rance, and 2 receivers up top. Rance fakes, he's looking, and throws it in the ground.
Good pressure. Vandermeer was back there again.
He kind of stepped out of the pocket that time and stepped into pressure.
And he was stepping to his left, and to make that throw, again being right-handed, he had to turn his whole body around.
Yeah.
It's hard
and that took time, too, and that finally got enough time for the defense to get in there and get in his face.
Yeah, that's just an awkward position to be put in. But so what? You've got 3rd down and a long 3 or short 4, whatever.
It just didn't develop as quickly as the Colts would have liked that play to do that. He had some room out there. The receivers had plenty of room to work with. Here's a power I, right, and 2 tight ends. They go to Topher, who works it inside the tackle, and looks like he may be close to a first down.
Well, once again, we saw number 52, Aaron Miles, an offensive lineman lined up at the fullback position. When they go to that power I, that's what they've been doing. And I think that got him the first down. It did.
Yep. Colts pick up the first down again when they need it. And just wearing down the Wolves.
Yep. Miles goes out, and they'll bring in the regular offensive backfield now. That's probably something that somewhere along the line this year, they're going to have a big lead against somebody like Groves or something, and they're going to talk coach into letting Miles score a touchdown.
Appledorn, the fullback now, in place of McCarty. McCarty's injury looks like it's going to keep him out. Outside, Topher gaining a pretty good chunk of yardage again on the first down carry. It'll bring up 2nd down, and let's see, about 4 or 5.
There's a flag well after the play. Somebody obviously said something or did something. That came as both teams were going to their huddles.
Yeah. The injury to McCarty, he is still stretching on the sideline, so it does look like it's a calf.
That's one of those you probably don't bring him back in unless you need to. You're up 14-0 and knocking on the end zone again.
Let's see if we can get the call down there. 2nd and 5 is where we stand right now. Let's see.
He waved it off. That's when you do that, they're waving the flag off.
Okay, so no call, and the flags flew after the play, as you said, Joe. So we really couldn't see.
That could have been, this is only guessing, because I figured it'd been a taunting foul or something like that. He might have seen, he might have seen what he thought was a player without a mouth guard in, and it might have been one that wasn't clipped to a face mask or something, but that's about the only thing I can imagine that she'd wave off.
Okay, let's get back to live action now. Appledorn takes it on a counter play right up the middle,
right near the end.
Cross block, and it opens up the hole for Appledorn for the first down, and the Colts nearing 6-point territory again.
Right, and for anyone that was wondering, one of the strange things about high school football rules, you get the same amount of yards for not wearing your mouth guard as you do for cheap shotting the quarterback. Kind of silly, I know. Not wearing your mouth guard only hurts yourself. I mean, it's a dumb thing to do, but it shouldn't be a 15-yard penalty.
But you hurt your team, too, so that's why you got to make sure you have it.
Bad rule.
1st and 5. 1st and goal from the 5. Topher using his speed, and he is dragged down, and a good play by Ryan Chapman.
Flag was thrown probably where there would have been a hold, only because it's when the defensive linemen and the linebackers got around the Troy line, and they probably would have tackled them from behind.
Which brings to mind, hey, this is the first game of the season. We haven't seen holding calls. We haven't seen, if this is the first one we've seen. We're in the 4th quarter, so hats off to both teams on that.
And here you go, somewhere along the line, and I don't know where, but somebody in there held someone.
So that is the first holding call that we've had, and it's very unusual for the first game of the season. And we've done a lot of them where the first game is just, we go back and forth with penalties. But two well-coached teams like this, you're not going to see that.
You're talking about teams that each
we got holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
There we go.
I was saying, you're talking about teams, each one of them won their respective conference last year. These are good, solid football teams. And I don't know who all Troy scrimmaged this year. We know who Clarkston scrimmaged. You go against those kind of teams, you work those kinks out. And I'm sure Troy doesn't go scheduling pansies in their scrimmages either. They probably go up against tough guys. Because if you're going to play a double-A schedule, you better schedule something in your scrimmages to match up with it.
9:52 left in the game. 14-0, the Troy Colts lead, and on the verge of getting another 6 here. But the Clarkston defense has stood up before. Let's see if they can do it again now. Again, they're one play away from making it 14-7 if they do stop them. Rance goes to the ground. Topher finds an opening. He fumbles the ball. Let's see who comes up with this. It looks like Clarkston has it. The Wolves come up big here.
Well, we don't know who's got it.
Looks like number 5 was down there. Let's take a look. 5 was the last one to get up, so I'm not sure if that was
to
it.
The right side. Right there's the fumble, and now it's just going to be a bunch of bodies floating all over the place. Yeah, that's 5.
Yep. Vandermeer got it. Vandermeer with his quickness.
He's had a heck of a game.
He's all over. And a big break for the Wolves. Now they've got to come up. Like you said, one play
got
here.
One-on-one coverage.
Yep. Here he is. Graves breaks it open. Look out.
Oh, man.
Graves down at about the 44-yard line. And, Joe, you mentioned it, and I kept saying just now, they're one play away from making it 14-7.
Yep.
And that could have been it. Let's see if they can capitalize now on that big play and keep the momentum going.
Well, I might even go to a no-huddle right now and just keep them on their toes.
Yeah. You got the Colts off guard now. They just fumbled, and the defense really, I bet you the defense is off because they thought they were going to go in for a score.
Well, that's the end of that.
Yeah, Graves hit for maybe about a yard loss, maybe a half yard. It'll be second and long.
If they're watching to the right side, Fife's got one-on-one coverage. Might want to go back to that fade pattern they tried earlier.
And I'm really surprised they haven't gone to the air outside as much. They've been trying some of the patterns, quick openers, instead of going to the deep pass.
Of course, the few times they have, the throws haven't been there, but I don't know, maybe you...
And again, Evans has got to take his deep drop. He's not going back deep enough. Let's see if he does. Nope, they try the draw right up the middle. Hey, this might work. Let's take a look.
That was a real quick draw to the fullback.
Joshua Preston rumbled. He just rumbled for about 7 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that Preston was almost on his back. as the snap came there. There's no time for the defense to react.
Third and about 3.
All of a sudden, Troy's having to do what Clarkston's had to do all day, have its defensive backs tackle the runners. But I mean, this is only 2 running plays they've had. I mean, you can't get overexcited about it yet. They've got to convert this play.
Sokolkowski.
He's going to throw.
Graves to throw. He's got his man. It's caught. Complete. First down to about the 20-yard line.
That was number
Mulligan
6. Mulligan
from Graves. And look at that. The Wolves come right back after the turnover and bring it all the way down the field.
I'll tell you what's funny is right here, you know, he's throwing. He really didn't disguise it at all.
Yeah.
The play's there. And
right on the money.
Look how much he has him beat by.
Yeah.
And Troy on its heels calls a timeout right now to regroup its defense. And that, I'll tell you, that throw is 2 inches shy of being a touchdown pass.
It's a great throw.
Great throw. Oh, he was getting killed as he threw it.
Yeah, if he had just let up a little bit on it, he might have had 6.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you take that, my gosh. So that's...
Well, we've been telling you all night, don't count the Wolves out. It's only 14-0, which are 2 scores, and you come back with 1 score right now, you still got 6 minutes to do something. Next week, we hope it's just as exciting as this when it comes down to the close. The Kimball Knights and the Rochester Falcons in a crossover game.
Pair of playoff teams from last year.
It's Saturday and Monday at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63.
What I'm anxious for, you know, last year we just assumed that we were going to see Rochester and Troy in the second round of the playoffs, and they both got knocked out, and that ended that idea. Still want to see those 2 play each other later in the year.
And the crowd here at Clarkston hanging on. They want to see this team come back. They've been down since the second quarter, 14-0, and now all of a sudden have sparked some offense on a big gain by Graves, and then Graves on the big pass to Mulligan.
Yeah, you know, there's the confidence factor right now where Clarkston suddenly knows it's capable of moving the ball. And Troy, which might have let up a little bit, has got to regroup and get back to the intensity that it had.
Don't forget, some of those Troy defensive players have been on the offense. Here's Graves, gaining about 4. Remember now, some of the Troy defensive players out there right now have been on the offense, so they're tired. So you've got to take advantage of that. So it's working the other way now.
Let's take a look. That run right there by Graves was a lot of great blocking. Look at everybody moving him out of the way, especially number 54, Neboychuk, who we've mentioned a lot on defense, made a great clearing block to get him sprung to the right side.
Here we go, 2nd and about 6 now. And this is a big series right here for the Wolves. They've got to keep their momentum going. I formation in the backfield, pro set for Evans. Evans, first man through, and surprises everybody. Good gain. That's a good game by Preston again.
Same quick dive they ran a couple plays ago, and again, I think it got him the first down. Well, maybe not. 3rd down and less than a yard, but watch right here. It's that quick dive. No time for the defense to react, and he's able to get through and gain 5 yards.
And get very close to the first down. 3rd and less than 1 here. And Preston comes out. That has been really a surprise play for the Wolves because the Colts don't expect it. They expect Graves to get the ball. And let's take a look. 3rd and 1. Will the quarterback keep it? Evans trying to draw him off sides. They give it to the fullback again. Let's take a look. Where will they mark it now? That's the key.
Well, the Troy defense came in low and took his feet out. He got nothing. That's 4th down.
And in there was Vandermeer as the fullback. So they are short again. So really no gain on that one.
Yeah, the Troy defense had the penetration. Take a look here. They come right through. They're going to hit his feet.
Yeah, immediately.
I mean, look at that. They get his feet so quick. He might have lost yards.
Yeah.
I don't know, we can't even tell who that guy is right there, but he went under a lineman to make the tackle.
Well, let's see where they line up. You can pretty much tell that. It looks like 64.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's been doing everything
64 or 44.
Probably 6. Well, 44 is lining up at a linebacker, so it had to be 64. Truza doing that.
So Truza, again, looked like we're taking a guess now. And again, the master anglers, if you're into fishing, you should tune into this show. Hey, did you know this past summer, the master angler himself, Mark Gomez, was out fishing at Lake Pontiac, and he saw that plane come down and crash.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about that?
Did they get that on video?
So you never know what you're going to see on that show.
Are we going to see that?
Yeah, I'm not going to say. You have to tune in and watch. Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63.
Well, I mean, if you got a plane crash.
So you think you're just going to go out there and catch some fish, right?
Right.
No, a plane comes down on a lake, okay?
It wasn't a seaplane either, right?
Wow. Well,
it is now.
It is now. But just, you never know what's, you think fishing, quiet, blah, blah, blah.
That's the Beavis and Butthead of fishing shows.
That's right. You never know what can happen.
Explosions
just
and
like
fire.
tonight, you never know what's going to happen. 14-0. Wolves have the ball with 4th and less than a yard. And you never know what's going to happen. Here you see Kurt Richardson looking on.
4th and a yard, and well, you see how much confidence you have in your line. You might, I don't know, quarterback sneak is usually what you go with, but they got a linebacker.
Wishbone.
Line up in the back.
First man through.
No, he lost yards.
Let's see where they mark it. No.
No, ref's already signaled. He didn't get through at all.
Colts come up with a big stop. That was really the play of the game right now as of this 6:06 left.
Wow.
Because that could have paved the way for the Wolves to get in. Let's take a look and see if we can what happened on that one. Oh, play of the game.
Play of the game, we don't have it.
We can call it, but
I think it was Vandermeer with the ball, but
yeah.
And everybody on Troy making the tackle.
Basically, that's what happened. And the Colts come up big. Here's Topher, the workhorse for the Colts offensively.
And Preston with the tackle. Preston, surprisingly, was not on the field for that last play. The guy who had a couple of nice plays on those quick dives.
Gain of 4 for Topher. 2nd and 6 coming up now. So the Colts come up big and stop the threatening Wolves. It looked like they were headed for the end zone for sure, and a big break for the Colts. Here's Topher, a lot of room to run, breaks it outside, and finally dragged down from behind by Wisser.
Great tackle by Wisser. I'm real impressed with Topher. Last time he carried the ball, he fumbled it and turned it over, and on that play, Wisser came from behind and swatted right at the ball, and Topher never flinched at all, held on to the ball, went down after a nice gain. Fumble obviously not affecting him.
Topher's on his way to 1,000 tonight.
He might get it tonight, yeah.
They won't stop giving him the ball.
Well, that's kind of how it works here.
5 minutes left here in the 4th quarter, and the Colts just grinding up the yardage and the clock. Here's Appledorn. He stopped for a loss on the first down carry. It'll be 2nd and long coming up now for the Colts. 2nd and 11, loss of a yard.
I doubt that they're too concerned about that. The Troy I'm talking about, obviously you want to gain yards and everything, but keep it on the ground, run the clock, and just don't turn it over.
Yeah. Clock on their side right now. You can see how quickly, though, the Wolves can get down the field if they really can get moving offensively, as they did on that last drive, but it just stalled out for them. The Colts came up big defensively. Topher again, off tackle, finds some room and tripped up down there by Wisser again, but not after Topher gains about 7 or 8 yards. Let's see where they mark it. It's a big 8-yard gain. Let's take a look.
Basic off tackle play that they run probably 35 times a game between all their running backs, and Topher just keeps piling the yardage on, and it's 3rd and 2. 31 carries, 188 yards.
Ouch. Big night for Jared Topher.
Wow.
Third and about 2. The tailback.
He got it.
He got it.
Needed 2,
And
he
that
got
is
2.
Adams, Taron Adams, who has seen some limited action here tonight and going in and spelling.
Once again, Aaron Miles lined up at fullback. I'm telling you, somewhere this year, that guy's going to score a touchdown because they're going to give him the ball.
That time spelling Topher.
And we got a
Adams
timeout on the
comes in.
field. There's an injury timeout. Troy player's injured. And that's not something they want to see right now. That's McCall.
That's McCall. That's one of their big guys.
And that's something they can't afford to have him hurt in the next few weeks.
McCall has done a great job not only
Well, I'll
offensively blocking, but defensively he has come up big.
Yeah, you look at their schedule. Next week they play Seaholm. They should beat them, but it's a big rivalry for them, so you never know. After that, at Rochester, that's a huge game. Pontiac Northern, another AA team. They don't get a break till they play Groves at the end of the month. I mean, that's, Groves a Class A team that hasn't had a winning record, decades. It's realistic.
Looks like he's going to get up on his own power. Let's see.
And they're not in our area, so.
Yeah, he's favoring the one leg, and it doesn't look good.
He's holding his left
McCall.
leg just above. It looked like he's holding above the knee. I don't know.
It's important when the head coach comes out and he sees a big guy like that go down. He's going to be out there.
It's your best player.
Yeah.
If your best player gets a hangnail, you go out.
And it's safe to say that McCall will not be going out there the rest of the evening. 3:23 left here in the fourth quarter.
He can go sit with McCarty and.
Yeah. And you really, wouldn't want to put a guy out there like that in this situation.
No.
Comfortable 14-0 lead with 3 minutes left. 3:12.
Troy just called
Troy
a timeout.
calls a timeout. Okay.
After all that, more delay.
I don't understand. They're killing the clock, and now they want to stop it.
Well, it's confusion.
Just a little play here, Joe.
There's only 3:12 left in the game, though. It's a 2-hour game to this point. You get Troy in a game, it's fast.
They're going to run it. They tried passing earlier. They did.
It worked a couple times.
Yeah, they did okay, and that's when in the early going when we said, hey, Troy is passing the ball here, and Clarkston isn't.
Yeah, so
they finally got on all gears.
That's like when you get one good sign though, way off on the left. I don't know if people could see it. McCall's doing sprints, and now he's doing little sideline shuffles, and he looks like he's running fine. And I don't know who that was we were just looking at
that
there.
That was the USA Today, I think they're here.
Oh, well, that's pretty big.
Here's the tailback, Adams trying to break it outside, brought down quickly out there by number 88, I think, Tim Wassil.
And you never know, right now, they might have pulled Topher for the game after McCall getting hurt and McCarty getting the cramp. So that might have been the thing that makes Gary Griffith decide, there's under 3 minutes left, get these guys out of here. Get the backup guys some more carries, some more experience. We're going to need them in the next couple of weeks.
Second down, about 6 now for the Colts. Pitch back to Adams, almost lost it. It still hangs on and breaks a tackle or two to get back to the original line of scrimmage and maybe just a yard or two more.
Oh, yeah, I think Chapman had him in the backfield. Might have lost a yard there. As it turns out, he gains about 2.
Yeah.
Just kept his legs going. Again, this is a guy you're going to have to get him some playing time. Struggles with the pitch, but does a good job of holding on. Breaks the tackler actually of Whistler.
Yeah.
But then turns around, gains about a yard.
Just under 2 minutes left in the contest. Third down and 4 coming up now.
Now you got Miles in there at fullback.
Yep, power I. One receiver up top, and a ball is fumbled. Flags are down as well, and finally, we got Rance going down.
Yeah, Rance picked the fumble up. Yeah, there was obviously some confusion on the handoff. Flags went down well before that.
Okay, the call on the Colts.
All right, if you're Clarkston, you got a weird decision here. You take the penalty, it keeps it at third down. You take the play, it's 4th and 1, and Troy might just go for it, and if they make it, the game's over.
Gary Griffith on the field, looking across and yelling to his offense, saying, hey, we don't need that right now.
I told you, every coach, no matter what, they're winning 14-0. They got to find something to motivate these guys for next week. There's the fumble.
And we had a little foreshadowing on the play before that when Adams couldn't handle that one, and this time.
We've got illegal procedure on the offense. 6 men in the line of scrimmage. Repeat third down.
Well.
And that could be very simply, they've got a backup tight end in there, and he might not have landed where he should have.
Here you go. 3rd and 9. Colts will do it over again. I formation, pro set with the receivers. Rants to go to the air. Has some time? No! Brought down by his ankle. And getting in there was number 67, Charles Nolan.
Now you got a minute and 24, and the clock's running. And if Clarkston has a punt block play in its book, it's coming now.
So the Wolves force the Colts to punt here on what could be their last possession of the game.
Yeah, they've got 10 guys up there on the line, and they're ready to come in.
Graves is way up, not anticipating a big punt. And he did the right thing, too. He just had to go horizontally. Picks it up. The ball is just shy of the 40-yard line.
Okay, big play by Troy there. Graves trying to get out of bounds. If you get out of bounds, the clock won't start until the snap. Even on changing possession in high school, the clock's going to start once the ball's set down and the chains are set.
So the Wolves getting back in the huddle quickly. Let's take a look at the punt. Graves had it perfect.
Good job of withstanding all that pressure.
Yeah. Graves knew right where it was going to be. He just moved a little bit to his left.
As we're about to see their final effort start right now.
Here we go. Evans. Deep. He's got his man. Fife. Look out. Fife down to about the 1-yard line. Jeremy Fife. And see, this is the play that I've been looking for earlier.
We were talking about this before, though. One play to a Jeremy Fife or somebody like that, and you're in the game. I don't know, 42 seconds left. It's going to be tough, but wow. Look at this. Airs that thing out. I don't know how long that play was.
61 yards, 60 yards on the pass play.
Triple coverage, and Fife almost dragged him into the end zone.
He did. He did a great job. He kept those feet going and almost got in.
We got the clock running, close to 30 seconds left in the game. They're going to have to get this thing in there quick.
Here's the wishbone. Graves, touchdown. The Wolves get on the board, and it's 14-7. But only 31 seconds left for the Wolves.
Well, so onside kick's coming after this extra point. That's, we mentioned it before, when you play a team that's got this great, tough, strong defense, it's going to take a big play to get them. And if they don't score a lot on offense, as here you see Graves just follow his blockers through, and this time he gets in the end zone. You know, if you can get one or two of those big plays, hey, you're in the game.
The extra point attempted here. It is up, and it is no good. So if the Wolves do score again, they've got to go for the two-pointer.
No, they've got to get the onside kick first.
Yep.
And we'll
but if
first.
they do score again,
absolutely.
That's what I said first.
That's right.
But see,
right now, Kurt Richardson is not thinking about a two-point conversion.
Right. But this is what I meant. This is the kind of offense I thought they were going to show us early. Go to the air, maybe not as deep as they did, maybe not the 60-yarder, but do a little bit of variation in some pass plays. Not to show off, but we got some new cameras this year. So and here we are, by the way, if you can see us up here. The two camera guys you see down here, they've got some new cameras to work with, and Mark, unfortunately, that's the old one we're phasing out.
Well, Master Angler.
No, not Mark, the camera. Yeah, that's what we're going to phase out.
The Master Angler, just because you're Master Angler doesn't mean you get the new stuff. Get the old stuff.
Well, that's the camera he goes fishing with.
Exactly, so you deal with it. Kelvin and Kenny get the good stuff.
Here we go. 31 seconds left in the contest. 14-6 the score. Onside kick just a little too far.
Oh, no.
But it's still loose. Still loose, and the Colts come up with it. So the Colts could run out the clock now with 29 seconds left.
Probably went farther than he wanted to. The idea there, just make the ball bounce funny and hope that it happens to come out of his hands. And here you see the ball hit right there as he tries to get it. That's Appledorn. Fortunately for Troy, they have a man there. You know what Clarkston's hoping again is just for that basic miracle.
Yep. Let's take a look at the scoring drive here for Clarkston. 2 plays, 60 yards. And the time, 28 seconds off the clock. So you know they can strike quickly.
And teams that are playing Troy in the next few weeks are watching. And that's probably what they're going to try and do.
And going down on the knee, Rants will just run this one out. Well, we knew it would be a close contest, a tough contest, and it was. But if you look at the statistics at the end of the game, which we're going to look at, it's going to be all Troy dominated.
Although Clarkston's passing stats are going to kill Troy's because they had they had the long halfback option pass and they had that 60-yarder. But yeah, definitely, first down-wise and everything else, Troy definitely controlled this game until the last 30 seconds of it anyway.
So Gary Griffith walks off with the victory, and for Kurt Richardson, a tough start to the season, but some things to build on for him as they come up with the 6 here at the end, and they know they can strike quickly.
Yeah, and these are the teams, again, picked to finish 1 and 2 in this division of the new Oakland Activities Association. And the scoreboard, people are going to read it and say, oh, 14-6, close game. Wasn't that close. Fact remains that if you can break the big play, and that's what, you have to do against a huge defensive team, you got to make the big plays happen.
Okay, the final score, 14-6. The Colts victors over the Wolves, and we'll be right back to wrap it up right after this.
Little boy.
You're in the wrong place, man. Let's get him.
To Victor, this isn't just a drawing, it's a cry for help. Listen to the children. Learn to protect them from drugs and violence. Call now and take a bite out of crime.
Back here at Clarkston High School, where the Troy Colts have defeated the Clarkston Wolves 14-6 here, the final score. The Wolves making a last-ditch effort to get on the board. It worked, but time ran out on them on their comeback. 282 total yards rushing for the Colts, 60 for Clarkston, 26 passing, 104 for Clarkston, 308 total yards, 164, so they doubled Clarkston's output in total yardage. First down, 16-5, that's a telling tale, and then turnovers 3 apiece.
Oh yeah, and all 5 Clarkston first downs were in the second half, as were most of the yards, and the passing, most of that came on 2 plays. But it was a bright spot for them, and for anyone playing Troy in the next few weeks, they know you're going to probably have to throw unless you've got a line that can match up with theirs.
All the scoring for Troy coming in the second quarter, and that pretty much held up the rest of the contest. The Clarkston Wolves, and again, that last-ditch effort in the fourth quarter come up with 6 points, and the extra point no good on their attempt, but it was all for naught anyway. The Troy Colts in their first really a league game, their first game starting out, come up with a real big win right here.
Yeah, and Jared Topher was the main man offensively, gained, I think, around 200 yards, and 3 weeks from now, they're playing Rochester, who we're going to see next week.
We're going to see them next week. The Kimball Knights take on the Rochester Falcons next week, Saturday and Monday at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63. So tune in then. For Joe Abramson and our hardworking TCI staff here that bring you the game every week, we're glad to get the 94 season off underway. And I'm Dave Zorn. Thanks for tuning in. The final score, the Troy Colts 14-6 over the Clarkston Wolves. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week at Rochester.